Welcome to Mission of Missions. I'm your host, Jeremy Tiers. This is the show designed to help you grow, both professionally and personally, in the fast-paced world of higher education. Every other Tuesday, I sit down with senior leaders, new professionals, and difference makers from across higher ed and beyond, where we'll share tips and strategies related to challenging topics like student recruitment, leadership, customer service, enrollment marketing, and time management. So if you're looking for practical advice and conversations that actually move the needle, this show's for you. Grab your notepad or fire up your notes app, and let's get into it. Hey everybody, it's Jeremy Tiers, and for episode 83 of my Mission of Missions podcast, it's time for another quick take episode where I talk about something I'm seeing, hearing, and discussing a lot as I travel around the country and speak with admissions and enrollment marketing leaders. We're currently in yield season, and accepted student events are in full swing on just about every college campus. Those events play a critical part in helping you achieve or miss your overall enrollment goals. The feel of campus continues to be the most important college decision-making factor in all of the ongoing survey research I do at top-tier higher ed. The first tip I have for you today as you're discussing and planning for upcoming accepted student days is to really focus on the idea of being memorable at every stage of your event. Being nice, kind, and helpful are the baseline in 2026. To truly stand out, you have to exceed expectations and be memorable. I've got 12 additional tips that will help you and your colleagues deliver a more enjoyable, a more impactful, and a more memorable student and family-centered experience. First up, let's start with parking, directions, and registration. There are three of the biggest micro frictions or little details that create frustration for a lot of families, especially parents and guardians. Do you have enough signage on the street, and is everything clear in terms of where to go? Is there any construction happening on or nearby campus? If so, bring those things to a family's attention and give them a solution. You could also consider having one or more parking lot attendants who help direct families, and you could add one or more additional people to assist with registration so that no one has to stand around in a long line after they arrive. Number 2 is consider what happens in the first 10 minutes of your event. The first thing you do sets the tone for the entire experience. What's the energy level and overall vibe like? If you're going to have an opening speaker, is that person authentic, engaging, and relatable? Or does it feel like he or she is dry, too formal, and essentially vomiting information about your school? Consider having a current first-year student or even a recent graduate begin the day by sharing a story related to how they made their college decision or how your school or somebody at it helped them transition to college level learning or overcome another challenge that they faced. Next, give students options to choose from. Every attendee doesn't have the same interests, so consider giving them options to self-select between different sessions and discover the things that they want to hear and see. When it comes to the topics that most admitted students want more information on, those include tips on how to compare schools during their decision-making process, what it's like living in the dorms, more info about the food on campus, more about the clubs and student organizations, as well as what the classroom environment is really like, and what resources, both academic and social, will be available to them if they needed to help with the transition to college. Offering choices ahead of time will make your event feel more personalized and relevant to more attendees. So we're ditching a lot of the PowerPoints and focusing on creating more connections. Number 4 has to do with student panels. They're great, but every college and university does them. How is yours going to be different? I encourage you to think outside the box and consider doing something that's interactive. Instead of having a current student share a lot of general information, encourage them to talk about things like How do you become more independent now that you're on your own? What's it like to live with a roommate, especially if it's for the first time? How do you manage everything in college, and how do you make new friends? You could even do a separate panel specifically for out of state students or first generation students. And if you have a decent sized commuter population, don't forget that group either. Next, be sure to connect admitted but undecided students with students who are at your event and have already submitted their deposit. While the majority of most attendees to an accepted students, they haven't made a final decision yet, every school has some students who are so excited about their commitment that they come back to campus or come to campus for the first time. How are you leveraging that group to influence those admitted but undecided students? And how are you creating opportunities for both groups to engage with current students? I encourage you to consider breaking off into smaller groups and doing one or more interactive activities. Number 6 focuses on parents and guardians. Don't make them feel like a tag along or an afterthought. Be sure there is at least one separate session for them to attend without their student. You could consider doing a parent panel where parents who represent current students, particularly first years when possible, talk about things like the investment side of college or topics like how to support your student in the decision-making process and how to let go once they head off to college. You could also have a faculty member whose child is a current student or whose child recently graduated from school offer their point of view. It's important that this number one influencer group walks away feeling like some of their concerns have been addressed and some of their questions have been answered. Next, when you have a student who only brings one of their parents or guardians with them, I continue to find that the student and parent who visit struggle to connect that missing parent to the emotion and feel of campus. It's nearly impossible to adequately describe everything, let alone answer all the questions that missing parent ends up having. I also continue to find that the parent or guardian who doesn't attend isn't able to connect the same way with you and your colleagues, and so it's going to be harder for them to sign off on their son or daughter or student submitting their deposit. If you discover ahead of time that one parent or guardian won't be able to make your accepted student event, I encourage you to have their admissions counselor do personalized outreach. An email or a short phone call would be my recommendation, and ask what their top 1 or 2 questions are about your school or the college decision-making process in general. After the visitor event, have that same counselor schedule a follow-up phone call with all parents or guardians and ask the student what they saw and heard and what the things were that really stuck out for them, as well as any new questions that they might have. For that missing parent or guardian who wasn't able to attend your event, hearing that dialogue can be very helpful when it comes to keeping them or getting them on board. I'd also encourage you to ask the missing parent some very direct questions like, what feels like the biggest unknown for you at this point? Or what would help the decision-making process feel easier or clearer for your family? Number 8 is what I'll call the fun component of your accepted student event. Something that is low pressure and enjoyable, like carnival games, competitions, food trucks, or a DJ. The amount of stress and feelings of being overwhelmed that students face throughout their entire college search continues to grow. And part of what will make your event memorable is having things that allow them to take their mind off of everything for a couple of minutes and just enjoy the atmosphere and being around a lot of the same people dealing with a lot of the same emotions and feelings. My 9th tip is to be sure and celebrate when those students make their decision. When a student feels ready to take the next step and submit their deposit during your event, do they know where to go to do that? More importantly, how are you celebrating this, I'll call it monumental decision? Some schools have students ring a bell, some sign a banner or a wall somewhere, some get something that's branded. Regardless of what you do, make sure you have a clearly defined plan on how you celebrate students who submit their deposit during your accepted student events. Furthermore, I would encourage you to try to do all of that in an area where other students, parents, and families see and hear these celebrations taking place. Next, have someone document all of your accepted student event content. Not every admitted or committed student will be able to attend one of your events. And so capturing the exciting and impactful moments throughout the day and then sharing those after the fact on social media or in a personalized email with students who are unable to attend still allows you to create some of those same emotions and memories that allow a student to feel more comfortable taking the next step in the process. Number 11 involves dropping any event survey that you do. Instead of doing a post-event survey, which oftentimes produces very general feedback, consider having one or more staff members whose sole goal is to just walk around the event, listen and observe, and take notes throughout the day. Get them to focus specifically on trying to find friction points and where it seems like more engagement and less engagement is happening. If you're waiting for students and parents to come and tell you about every problem, you're going to be waiting a long time. Identify those pain points yourself as a collective group and then discuss how to remedy them before your next admitted student event. My last tip is to do intentional follow-up. My research continues to show that there is a handful of times when a student's mindset significantly shifts during their college search. One of those is in the hours and days after any campus visit or event. It's so important to have a clearly defined plan for your personalized follow-up. You need to better understand what, if any, new questions a student or parent might have, as well as what they have left to do before they make the ultimate decision. That's all for today. Thank you for listening until the end, and as always, I appreciate your time and attention. New episodes of my podcast are released every other Tuesday. And remember, you can go back and listen to one of the other 82 episodes next time you're on a walk, in the car, or even at the gym. I'll see you back here again soon. Thanks for listening to Mission Admissions. This show is a proud member of the Enrollify network, home to Higher Ed's the largest collection of podcasts. Enrollify is where higher ed goes to grow. So be sure to check out our other podcasts, webinars, video clips, blogs, and more. Visit Enrollify.org and subscribe for all the latest details and content drops directly to your inbox. Enrollify is brought to you by Element 451, the digital workforce platform for higher ed. Learn more at element451.com.